She had already decided she was going to die. The question, the one that historians have been arguing about for 2,000 years, is how. August 12th, 30 BC, Alexandria, Egypt, Cleopatra VII, the last true pharaoh of Egypt, is locked inside her own mausoleum. Her kingdom is gone, her lover is dead, and the most powerful man in the world, the Roman general Octavian, is standing at the gates of her city. She has been a prisoner for 11 days, and then without warning, she is dead. No wound, no blood, no witnesses, just a queen, and a mystery that has never, not in 2,000 years, been fully solved. Because here is what the history books don't tell you. The snake story, the one every school child learns, the one painted on museum walls across the world, there is almost no evidence it actually happened. To understand how Cleopatra died, you first have to understand who she was when she was alive. Not the seductress, not the Hollywood version, the real one. Cleopatra VII was the first ruler of her dynasty, the Ptolemaic line, which had ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years, to actually speak Egyptian. She also spoke 9 other languages: Ethiopian, Hebrew, Aramaic, Median, Parthian, Latin, and more. She was not Egyptian by blood, she was Macedonian Greek. But she became Egyptian in a way no ruler in her family line ever had before or after. She was also a trained mathematician, a philosopher, and by all surviving accounts, a woman of extraordinary tactical intelligence. The Romans, who feared her more than they admitted, tried very hard to reduce her to a footnote. They didn't entirely succeed. She had aligned herself with Rome twice, first with Julius Caesar, the most powerful man alive, and bore him a son, Caesarion. When Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, she switched her allegiance to Mark Antony, Caesar's top general, and the man she calculated would win the ensuing Roman Civil War. For a decade, she was right. Then came the Battle of Actium, 31 BC. Antony and Cleopatra's combined fleet facing Octavian's forces in the waters off western Greece. It should have been close, it wasn't. Antony's ships were heavier, slower, undermanned by disease. Octavian's admiral, Agrippa, outmaneuvered them methodically, without mercy. Cleopatra, watching the battle turn, broke formation and sailed south, back toward Egypt with 60 ships still intact. Antony followed her. It was the moment history turned. Antony's remaining forces, seeing their commander flee, surrendered immediately. The war was over. Octavian had won everything, and Cleopatra had exactly 11 months to figure out what to do next. Here is where most versions of this story skip ahead to the snake. But what happened between Actium and Cleopatra's death is far more interesting and far more revealing about how she actually died. Cleopatra did not give up, not even close. She immediately began secret negotiations with Octavian directly and through intermediaries, trying to preserve what she could. She offered him treasure, enormous quantities of it. She had spent the months after Actium consolidating Egypt's wealth: gold, silver, emeralds, pearls, ebony, ivory, spices, into a single stockpile inside the mausoleum where she eventually died. She also offered him something more dangerous, the possibility that she would burn all of it. This was not a bluff. Octavian needed Cleopatra's treasure to pay his legions. Without it, his grip on Rome was fragile. A returning general with empty hands and 200,000 unpaid soldiers was a general who would not survive the year. He could not afford to let her destroy it, so he negotiated. And Cleopatra was good at this. She had been playing Roman generals for 20 years. Octavian sent his envoy, Proculius, to meet with her through a barred window of the mausoleum. They talked, they circled each other. Then, while Proculius kept her attention at the window, a second Roman soldier scaled the walls on the other side. They were inside before she knew it. A guard grabbed her as she lunged for a dagger she had hidden in her robes. She was disarmed. She was a prisoner, and Octavian had her alive, along with every ounce of treasure. What came next is where the story gets strange. Octavian visited her in person. This is documented, and by all accounts, Cleopatra tried one more time, her last gambit. She attempted to seduce him. It didn't work. Octavian was either uninterested or too politically shrewd to be moved, possibly both, but he made her a promise. She would be treated with dignity. She would not be harmed. Cleopatra had been in politics long enough to know exactly what that promise meant. To understand Cleopatra's final decision, you need to understand one Roman tradition, the triumph. When a Roman general won a major military victory, the city of Rome celebrated with a parade, the triumph. It was the highest honor the Republic could bestow, and at the center of every triumph walked the defeated enemy, in chains, through the streets of Rome, for the crowd to mock, to spit at, to throw things at. And at the end of the parade, the defeated ruler was typically strangled, publicly, in a prison called the Tullianum, at the foot of the Capitoline Hill. This was the fate Octavian had planned for Cleopatra. She knew it. She had seen what happened to her sister. Arsinoe, Cleopatra's younger sister, a rival, had been captured years earlier by Julius Caesar and paraded through Rome in golden chains during his triumph of 46 BC. The crowd, to Caesar's surprise, had wept for her. A beautiful young princess in chains was not the image of Roman power he wanted. He had spared her. Octavian would not make the same mistake. Cleopatra was 39 years old. She had ruled Egypt for 22 years. She had allied with the two most powerful Romans who ever lived and outlasted them both. She had protected her kingdom, her children, her people with every tool available to her, and now there was one tool left, her death, on her own terms, before Octavian could use it against her. On August 12, 30 BC, Cleopatra bathed, dressed in her full royal regalia, and ate a meal. Then she sent a sealed letter to Octavian. He opened it and read it immediately. Inside was a single request, that she be buried alongside Mark Antony. Octavian understood immediately what the letter meant. He sent men running. They were too late. They found Cleopatra dead on her golden couch, dressed as the goddess Isis, in full royal regalia. Two of her servants, Eris and Charmian, were also dead or dying beside her. One guard allegedly grabbed Charmian as she was collapsing and demanded to know if this was right. Her answer, recorded by the ancient historian Plutarch, was perfectly right for a queen. Then she collapsed, and history begins to fracture. The snake story comes later, a cobra hidden in a basket, but the physician found no clear bite, only two small marks, nothing certain. And modern science raises a problem. A cobra's death is slow, painful, messy, not silent, not composed. 3 women dying peacefully? Unlikely. But Cleopatra knew poisons. She studied them, tested them. She was searching for something specific, fast, painless, controlled, and she likely found it, a mixture, opium, hemlock, possibly more, a calculated death. No wounds, no chaos, just silence. The snake may be real, maybe not, maybe just a symbol. A final message meant something. Power, divinity, royal authority. If she chose her death, she also chose the story that would follow it. Even in death, she controlled the narrative. Octavian was furious, not because she died, but because she denied him. No triumph, no spectacle, no humiliation. She had escaped him completely. He killed her son, secured Egypt, declared himself ruler, and became Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. But he never got what he wanted most. So he created it. A painting, displayed in Rome, Cleopatra dying, with a snake, a version of the story he could control. But even then, she had already won. She ruled for 22 years, fought Rome for a decade, and when she lost, she chose everything. Her death, her image, her legacy. And 2,000 years later, no one knows exactly how she died. Only one thing is certain, she decided, on her own terms,